The government of President Buhari is working to change the state of affairs. We are determined to restore the full weight of the social contract between the citizens and the government, where we're writing the old rules and the compacts, making it clear to Nigerians that will ensure that every naira of public money is put to use for the maximum good of the Nigerian people, while simultaneously ensuring that every naira due to public coffers in taxes is promptly and efficiently collected. We've aggressively expanded the implementation of the Treasury Single Account, the TSA, and the Integrated Personal Payroll Information System, IPIS, both designed to ensure that public funds are transparently managed and spent. In the process, we've succeeded in proving that process reforms are only as good and as effective as their implementation. The TSA's unified system of bank accounts domiciled in the central bank has proven to be far more transparent and cost-effective than the old scenario in which government agencies maintain thousands of accounts across various commercial banks. Because of the TSA, the federal government realizes monthly savings of at least 4 billion naira, which would have gone on commercial bank charges alone. The Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audit, PICA, has also tightened controls on the federal payroll and pension systems, eliminating tens of thousands of ghost workers and saving us more than 200 billion naira that would have gone to these ghost workers. The level of commitment to accountability makes it easy to see how we managed to, even in the face of dwindling earnings and a recession, succeeded in significantly spending more on infrastructure, roads, rail and power, and human capital development, education, health, poverty reduction, etc., than any previous government so far. Along these public financing reforms we've also that I've highlighted, we're also keenly aware that our tax system requires review to make it easier for citizens to fulfill their own end of the social contract. That is why in February 2016, the Federal Executive Council adopted the National Tax Policy and the establishment of an implementation committee for the policy. The specific mandate of the committee included the removal of obsolete, ambiguous, and contradictory provisions in our tax laws, simplification of the tax payment process, and a reduction of the tax burden on micro, small, and medium enterprises. It is pleasing to note that the committee's work has since produced 5 amendment bills and 2 executive orders, all of which will shortly be presented to the Federal Executive Council for approval. Last year, we launched the Voluntary Assets and Incomes Declaration Scheme, VADES. VADES has opened up a 12-month amnesty window, which allows Nigerians at home and abroad to regularize their tax status by declaring and paying all taxes previously undeclared over incomes and assets and all that, without the fear of investigation or prosecution. One of the VADE's goals is to raise Nigeria's tax to GDP from the current 6% to 15% by 2020. I'm sure that as tax professionals, VADES has brought increased activity to your various offices. I implore you to keep in mind that 1, that extra income is taxable, and 2, that to whom much is given, much is expected. When VADES comes to a close on June 30th, 2018, the tax authorities have made it clear that they will aggressively go after all tax defaulters and evaders, and I'm sure will require the active participation of all of you tax administrators and tax professionals present here. In terms of tax administration, we are seeing new levels of cooperation between the federal and state authorities. VADES is a very good example of this, based on the realization that cooperation will bring more benefit than competition. On the international level, we've signed a number of international tax administration agreements that will make it harder for Nigerians to evade taxes by hiding their assets abroad. We're also working on how to adapt our tax laws to the digital age, one in which commerce has become borderless and intangible, and to which the old laws no longer really apply. E-filing is a rapidly growing concept which we are very keen to extend to taxpayers at all levels across the country. We are also taking seriously measures to curtail tax evasion by multinational companies. I know that this is one of those issues that the Minister of Finance in particular is very passionate about. We must not hold the ordinary citizen to account for tax payments while allowing the powerful multinationals to capitalize on their size and smarts to slip away without scrutiny. We're also determined to ensure that no one is left at the mercy of unfair tax regimes. To this end, we've extended the reach of our double taxation avoidance agreements. There's no doubt that much has been achieved, by the unprecedented push to rewrite the tax narrative in Nigeria, to ensure that everyone, citizens, businesses, investors, tax professionals, governments, all derive maximum benefit from the system. Earlier, I noted that as of May 2017, only 14 million economically active Nigerians paid taxes. I'm pleased to note that the number is now in excess of 19 million and still growing.
The government school buildings that they were putting up, they rated first class. And I asked him, I said, which students are you building these schools for? And he said, for the students who can't afford private education. We went to Osun State also, Oshogo, and we saw a similar thing. They were putting up school buildings that will rival, I can even say, rival the buildings that they use in universities for those who can't afford private educations. And we spoke to the people on the street, both in Sokoto and in Osun State. And we asked them, just at random, have you paid your tax? And they were happy to say they paid their tax. And we asked them, why are you paying your tax? And by coincidence, we're just on a new road that had just been tarred. He said, because of this road and because of the schools that the governor had put up. So that social contract has to be in place. Because in changing a culture, you have to present something. Because the question I'll ask, how many jails do we have? How many businesses can we afford to close down? Next, the social. I'll ask everyone here, how many of you have engaged a domestic staff? How many of you have engaged a driver? How many of you have spoken to those staff on the benefit of tax payment? Now, considering that you pay cash, you pay them directly, and I'm sure that most people here will pay on an average between the driver, the domestic help, the megad, or whatever. Even if you are Ijebu, you pay them at least 10,000 naira per month. And then for those who are not Ijebu, might even go up to 40 or 50. How many of you have explained to them that out of this 50,000 naira, and you're going to pay tax of 2,500 per year, not per month, just to introduce them to the payment of tax. Because the issue of tax payment has to be on the numbers. So we have to start that process here, and we have to start that process with even those who are classified as low income, and then build up. We'll get to the high net worth, and I think the VAT issue will get there. There was a program that we ran in the FIRS, and we looked at all corporate names or organizations that had properties, first of all in FCT, that had not filed any tax returns. Surprisingly, we had, I'll give you estimate figures so that you won't be alarmed. We had over 2,000 properties and plots of land registered and owned by corporate names that are not paying any taxes. We found out that some of those corporate names were shell companies, just used for the purpose of development, of building a structure, and without filing returns. Now, a note to them, in our law, when you don't file returns, we can use your turnover to assess you for tax. In terms of total value in FCT was in excess of 3 trillion naira. And we're doing the same exercise all over the country. We concluded in Lagos State, Kano State is nearly ready. We're about to start in Oyo State.